Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Mission Success Women in Multifamily. I'm Laura Valean, Senior Editor with Multi-Housing News. In today's episode, we're stepping a little closer to the human side of leadership. What shapes it, what challenges it, and what keeps it moving forward, even in uncertain environments. My guest is Rebecca Ely, Director of Resource Development at Operation Pathways, the resident services arm of the NHP Foundation. Rebecca brings a unique perspective at the intersection of affordable housing, philanthropy, and community impact. Work that's deeply strategic, but also deeply personal. We'll talk about her career journey, the people and the moments that shaped her path, what it means to lead as a woman in this industry, and how she's thinking about mentorship and the next generation of leaders. Rebecca, welcome to Mission Success. It's so great to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
So let's look back at your path a bit. You went from institutional advancement to now leading national resource development for Operation Pathways. Is there a through line that connects all of it?
Yeah, absolutely. Looking back at my career from the beginning, I really think the through line has been a commitment to social justice and economic equality. From food insecurity at Share Our Strength to housing affordability with NHPF and Operation Pathways, I've really focused on unlocking resources for programs to deliver impactful programming to communities and to ensuring that people from all backgrounds, no matter, from all backgrounds and income levels, have access to resources that everyone needs, like food and housing, in order to thrive. So that's really been the focus of my career.
Mm-hmm. Is there anyone or anything that shaped your early understanding of leadership and impact? Was there a moment or a mentor that changed how you saw your role?
Yeah, actually, I've been blessed with so many wonderful mentors and leaders throughout my career. But I would say recently at Jubilee Housing, I worked with Jim Knight, the president and CEO, and he really was a leader who not only set vision for the organization, but also for his employees. So he saw potential in you that maybe you didn't see in yourself and encouraged you to stretch outside of your own perceived limitations. And in doing that, we really achieved things that I never thought would be possible. Really proud of that work and brought it into NHPF and OP. And I think that's something that we want to do for the people that work for us and really help them to see their future potential so they can grow and thrive.
Mm-hmm. You joined Operation Pathways in 2023, right? And now you oversee funding initiatives nationally. What's different about this role compared to your previous leadership roles?
So really, the focus at Jubilee Housing and other organization has been more on a micro level, focused on one community, and at in NHPF, it's more national, so more of a macro focus. We have a wonderful program that we rely on, our annual gala, and that is our biggest fundraiser. And without that support, we wouldn't be able to do the work we're doing across all the communities we're in. We're in 11 states in the District of Columbia, over 30 properties. And in order to do that, we need to raise funds at a much larger scale.
Okay, so now your work also sits at the intersection of philanthropy, housing, and resident services, all at a national scale. How do you balance the strategic side of fundraising with the very human stories behind that mission?
Well, NHPF is in a unique position as one of the few national organizations with a resident services subsidiary. We are really able to allow the residents' voice, needs, and wants in informing our strategy. So we really allow the human stories to inform the strategy and how we're approaching foundations and funders and telling them what the communities need. So we listen through tenant associations, resident advisory councils, surveys, listening groups. We have opportunities to engage with our residents and really ask what it is that they need. And we use that information to build a strategy that is sustainable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. As a woman leading in the affordable housing and nonprofit development space, have there been any moments where you felt you had to navigate expectations differently? Have you ever felt underestimated? How did you react to that? How did you handle that?
Yeah, I think affordable housing especially has a history of being very male heavily leadership wise, and more and more we're seeing more and more women coming into the field and taking on these leadership roles. I think in the past I've seen um, a need to be more accommodating and a need to take on roles that maybe weren't within my job description or my role, just as my nurturing side comes out. And as I've grown my family, I've been able to set more boundaries and recognize that at the end of the day I'm still accountable for the goals and leadership duties that I have, and that while it's nice to be involved in all of those other things, you have to prioritize your responsibilities first and allow for others to step up too.
Mm-hmm. How do you think about mentorship today? Both the mentors who shaped you and the people you're now lifting up.
Yeah, like I said, I think I've had, some really great mentors in my
Right.
career. And I think that mentors are really good mentors are people who not only provide access, open doors for you, but they're also there to provide critical feedback to help you see how you can grow and strengthen your own skills, how you can sort of level up to the next place, and challenge you to be your best self. And that's what I try to do for mentors, that, people who I'm mentoring, really pushing them to grow themselves and to have access to, and introducing and open doors for them so that they can continue to expand their networks.
Mm-hmm. You're now leading nationally, raising capital, building partnerships, and you said earlier you're also a mother. I know you're raising teenage boys. How has motherhood influenced your leadership style?
It's amazing how much motherhood seeps into all aspects of your life, parenthood, I
Right.
think. Yeah. And it has affected me as a leader. I think it's really made me more intentional with my time. It's also made me more patient in coaching and understanding that not, all people, not just kids, really need time to grow. And with the right supports, people can grow. And also, that to give them space, to have empathy and support in helping them to become the best people they'll be. Um, Operation Pathways also has a model that we use called family centered coaching, in which we
Mm-hmm.
work with individuals and families to help them identify their own goals and talk through what their assumptions are and why, what they think would be the best solution for a problem. And that's really helped me in my parenting as well, because I think with teenagers, they really want to be in charge,
Mm-hmm.
and you want them to think they're in charge. So, really like working with them to help them understand what it is they're hoping to get out of something, and what how they can do that without, with um, the best strategy to get there. Whether, because sometimes they'll assume that something is not going to work because of, something deep and underlying that they think is a problem, but it's not. And so helping them to see how to work through things is really valuable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If a young woman entering housing or nonprofit development today and listening to this podcast asked you how to build a meaningful and sustainable career, what would you tell her?
I would tell a woman coming into the affordable housing field really to seek roles that will stretch themselves, allow them to try on many different hats, and be exposed to various different aspects of the affordable housing industry, really opening their, minds to everything that possible, to continue to build relationships with their colleagues and their managers, and to join a network. I'm a part of the Women's Affordable Housing Network, the DMV chapter, and it's a really great organization for women from all backgrounds in affordable housing to come together. And it's a great way to see different paths and build connections for future opportunities. So I would encourage them. There's many different types of women's organizations like that within affordable
Right.
housing, and I would encourage them to be a part of that as well.
Mhm. What does it mean to you personally to be part of a generation of women shaping the future of affordable housing?
Well, personally, it's really exciting. I'm excited to see more and more women taking, roles on boards and in C-suite positions, CEOs, COOs. It's very inspiring. And to see this group of women who are really pushing for affordable housing that incorporates resident services on a larger scale, recognizing that communities need more than just affordable housing. They need those wraparound services in order for families to be successful and to thrive. And so I'm really excited to be a part of that.
And looking ahead, is there anything else that excites you about your next chapter, both professionally and personally?
Yeah, again, like I think I'm really excited about scaling models of resident services that are fundable, that can be continuing to grow and expand on that larger level. We're recognizing the need for resident services that will allow for us to achieve the outcomes that we want to achieve, with, housing stability and financial wellness and healthier living. Those are all really important, and pushing for resident services to be included in that and not just, an option, but like a requirement is really important. And I'm excited to be a part of that. On a
And personally?
Yeah, yeah. So on a personal level, I think I'm really excited to build sustainability in a broader sense, really looking intentionally at how my time is being used and where I'm putting my energy. It's, as I get older, I understand that it's less about doing more and it's more about what you're doing with intentionality and with, a sense of peace around it. So that's what I'm trying to build into my life now.
Rebecca, thank you so much for this conversation and for allowing everyone to get to know you a bit better.
Thank you, Laura. It's so nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
That's all for today's episode of Mission Success Women in Multifamily. If you enjoyed this conversation and want to hear more stories from women shaping the multifamily industry, make sure to follow the Lease Up on your favorite podcast platform. That's where you'll find all of Multi Housing News' podcast series, including Mission Success. You can also stay up to date with the latest news, trends, and insights at multihousingnews.com. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next month.